Ms. Bridgewater and everyone else.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Let's see, when is the SAP reset date?
January 2nd, 2024.
Very good, thank you. Let's see, we will get started as soon as courtroom 2 gets on with us.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow.
Good afternoon, Francois. Hope you're doing well.
I am. Hope you are too.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. Where are we starting today?
I'm going to be starting with position number 15, Ms. Primo.
Good afternoon, Ms. Primo. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Primo, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008077C with simple battery family violence. Who do we, good afternoon,
First
Mr.
arrest. Hey, jail was the recommendation.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, good afternoon.
Sorry, I was muted. Good afternoon, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to Wood Creek Drive, where they met with the victim, Mr. John Steele. He advised that he and the defendant are in a relationship and they have resided and lived together for the last 8 months. They were having a verbal disagreement when things became physical, and the defendant did punch the victim. The state is seeking a signature bond through pretrial services, no contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, a 2-day anger awareness course, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And of course, we would sign for the victim, Mr. John Steele.
Mr. Steele is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. This was just an aberration. This is not who Stephanie is.
Okay, Mr. Steele, give me 1 second. Can you raise your right hand for me, sir?
Yes,
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Go ahead. What would you like to tell the court?
I would just like to say she's a very sweet person. This is an aberration. This is not like her. This won't happen again. I 100% am very comfortable with that. I would have no problem with her coming back and staying here. I don't fear for my life. I don't fear for anything actually with it. It was just a mistake that happened, and I feel she's never had a past of this. She won't in the future. I feel she should have a chance.
Okay. I appreciate you being here this afternoon, Mr. Steele. Thank you. Let's see. Whose client is this? Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 50 years old, and she has been here in Georgia for the last 8 months. And of course, she resides with Mr. John. She is a full-time worker as an MRI tech. He works at outpatient clinics, and Your Honor, she also has associate degree. I apologize, not he, but she. We would like to request for a signature on bond through jail, as she is recommended for UJR, and no further violent contact. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to send it through pretrial, Ms. Kim. It'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Steele, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right. Good luck to you, Ms. Primo, and you also, Mr. Steele.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Cook. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. I had a client, Jacqueline Smith, who I was not able to interview because she was on the medical floor.
I think that is that Ms. Rothman's client. I see Jacqueline Smith, that private attorney. That's Rothman.
Your Honor, I do represent Ms. Smith on behalf of Julie Kurt. However, I believe there are 2 Jacqueline Smiths, so I'm not sure if that's. I do have a date of birth for my client, if that helps.
I do as well.
Okay,
I've got August 17th. Mine is August 17th, 1947.
That's the same as mine. So
okay, well, I guess you're the person.
We did
Oh.
just file an entry of appearance, so
That's fine. But
Okay.
I'll follow up by just if I could, and don't want to interfere. But it was my understanding she was on the medical floor when I tried to contact her. So I don't know if she's there now and if their current attorney has had a chance to interview her, but obviously her attorney can speak for herself. So
Have you had the opportunity? Thank you, Mr. Cook. Have you had the
Sure.
opportunity, Ms. Rothman, to speak with her?
we have not. However, we do have all the information we need from her daughter, and so we're ready to go forward if she is there.
And do we have Miss Smith in courtroom too, Officer Francois?
Miss Smith, what position?
It's position 17, Jacqueline Smith, I believe.
Oh, she's gonna be in. Let me get back with you on that. I believe she's in. I'll get back. I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. So if you'll hold for us, Ms. Rothman will be with you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And who do we have before us now?
This is going to be Ms. Walker, position 19.
Okay, good afternoon, Ms. Walker. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, it's on.
Thank you. And is this Rakima Walker?
No, my name is Destiny Walker.
Destiny Walker. Okay, I'm sorry. That's position 18. Ms. Walker, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008073D with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
8th arrest. Got an open theft by taking reckless conduct in state court. It's 23 CR 005502D. Open fleeing out of DeKalb County with a suspended registration. A 2019 simple battery DV arrest. This was level 2.
Yes, Mr. Walker.
Sorry, I was muted again. 1 second.
Hold on, just 1 second. Do we have I've got a note that Ms. Walker is a conflict attorney. Do we have the conflict attorney on the line?
I have not seen it yet.
Okay, so we're gonna have to come back to Ms. Walker, and do we know who her attorney is?
That's Miss McLeod. So if she's not signed on, we can move on to the next one.
Okay, thank you.
Have a seat. Position 16. Come on, man.
Your Honor, before we go any further, I sent a chat to Miss Sierra Pitts. If she would read that chat, please, and we can go ahead.
And so this is Ms. Sepulveda? Is that correct?
You can say it again. Yes, Your Honor. Samara.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Sepulveda. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 008064H with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
So what number is this?
Position 16.
Six total. Last arrest was 2021. Cultivating marijuana plants out of California. 2014 failure to appear. 2014 failure to render aid conviction. 2012 failure to appear. 2011 trespass conviction.
Yes, Sean. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 2788 DeForest Ferry Road, where they spoke to the victim, Miss Myra Sepulveda. She and the defendant are sisters. They were involved in a verbal disagreement that turned physical, at which point the defendant grabbed the victim by her hair and punched her in the face several times. The victim did suffer swelling near the right side of her right eye and a cut to her left cheek. The state is seeking a signature bond through pretrial services, no contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, a 2-day anger awareness course, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And we did make contact with the victim, Ms. Myra Sepulveda, and we would sound for her in accordance with Marcy's law.
If Ms. Myra Sepulveda is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Mr. Walker. When your office spoke with her, what were her did she indicate her desires?
She says she is okay with having no violent contact, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Cook?
Yes, I spoke to her as well. That was what she told me as well, that she wants contact. In fact, my client babysits for her daughter, and the alleged victim and my client see each other almost every day now. So no, she's fine with no violent contact. She was also fine. And I know she was going to try to get on Zoom. She's also fine if she returns to the 2788 DeForest Ferry Road address, although she has other places to go if that is not appropriate.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Myra Sepulveda, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thanks. No, Diaz, Mr. Diaz. That's position 3.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Diaz. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Diaz, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008062F with stalking and criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
11 total, 2018 battery dismissed. We got a 2016 grand larceny. Everything else is either driving license or drugs. 2018 fade to appeal. I did see that.
Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to a Dunkin' Donuts at 11706 Alpharetta Highway. The victim is an employee at that location. Apparently, he refused service to the defendant's wife. She took offense and contacted her husband. Ever since that date, her husband has then came up to the Dunkin' Donuts. I believe at one incident, they caused some type of disturbance. This has occurred at a separate location for another Dunkin' Donuts where the defendant came back and slashed the victim's tires. And essentially, he has been harassing this victim, Mr. Willingham, while he's on his job at the Dunkin' Donuts. Outside of working at that location, he has never had contact with the defendant. He does not know the defendant, but there is concern for his safety. Of course, the state is asking for a surety bond in the amount of $1,500 on each count for a total of $3,000 surety. No contact with Kevin Willingham, the victim who's an employee at the Dunkin' Donuts. We're asking for a stay away from all Dunkin' Donuts within Floyd County. That's because this has been an ongoing issue at multiple locations from my understanding. We are also asking for no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And we will sound for the victim, Mr. Kevin Willingham.
If Mr. Willingham is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Ms. Kim?
Yes, my client, Mr. Diaz, is actually 34 years old. He was born in New York and he moved to Georgia about 6 years. And he is, I guess his wife, Karina Diaz, is on the Zoom line right now, supporting him. And Your Honor, this was a self-defense. My client basically denies the allegation. There was no stalking, and he wants to make sure that this was total misunderstanding. And
I'm sorry, I'm on the line. This is totally not a misunderstanding because I have
Okay,
a
so
couple
Mr. Willingham, all right, I will call on you in turn. We do not interrupt in this court. I understand that you're there, so I will give you a call now that I will call on you in turn when Ms. Kim has finished her presentation, sir.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, Ms. Kim.
yes, He is gainfully employed at Amazon as a packaging delivery, and he completed GED. He has a strong ties to the community. His entire family is here, wife and 8 years old child, who were attacked by Mr. Kevin Willingham, who is here on the line right now. So we would like to request for signature on bond, and if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we ask for maximum $1,000 good bond. Thank you.
Okay, now, Mr. Willingham, if you would like to address the court, I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me.
All right.
Swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, sir?
Yes, what I'd like to address to the court is when this incident happened back in June, because this all originated from the wife when this incident happened. And she felt like she was being rushed through my drive-through and then was upset and then came to at my window, then made threats. And one thing we don't tolerate at my job is making threats to us. And that's when we refused service because she felt like she was being rushed. And that's when she got mad and said to me, "Oh, I'm going to get my boyfriend to beat you up. Come to my job." And that's when an hour later, that day, they both came, and I had the video surveillance when they was disrupting, cursing, threatening to beat me up and do everything else. And then I left it alone at that point in June. But then when he came and found me, I guess, at another location at a Dunkin' Donuts that I worked at, and I happened to see him, and then I came around and looked outside, and I said, "Oh, wow, he's slashing my tires." Even though I let it go. And I was like, okay, so he must be stalking me or trying to follow me and trying to escalate this even further. Even though I don't have no dealings with him, I don't know nothing about him. They're, just a simple customer, and that was it. And I didn't ask for that at all.
Okay.
To me, over something that's so petty, over something that you want to go take this further and do damage to my own property, to my own tires. This is absurd.
Your Honor, nobody actually saw about the tire, and actually we have no objection to stay away and have no further contact with him.
Okay. For each count, it will be a $500 good bond, makes for a total of $1,000 good bond. No further contact with Kevin Willingham. Stay away from all Dunkin' Donuts in the Atlanta area. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right. Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And let's see, just because I see her on the line, Ms. Myra Sepulveda, we have already addressed your sister's case. She was given a signature bond, ma'am. So you're welcome to stay with us, but I just wanted to let you know that your sister's case has already been addressed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just want to apologize because I was having microphone issues.
Okay, so you were able to hear what we were saying.
I was able to hear most of what was said, but I think I was
Okay.
cut off at the end.
Okay, very good, ma'am. You have a good afternoon.
Thank you, you as well.
Thank you.
This is gonna be one Atkins.
Good afternoon, Mr. Atkins. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Atkins, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008068B with stalking and criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest. You got a trespass from earlier this year. Well, before today. That's it.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 7 Independence Place where they spoke to the victim, Miss India Waters. She said she's familiar with the defendant because they are neighbors and they have had a couple of casual conversations. Since that day, he has been harassing her. He has came onto her property through the back gate without consent. He set up a tent in her backyard and set a teddy bear next to the tent. He also has thrown a golf ball through her townhouse window. And he's damaged her property in other ways, I believe. He also has been reaching out to the victim via unwanted contact. We have made contact with the victim. She is concerned for her safety. The defendant has repeatedly came onto her property. We are asking for a $3,000 surety bond on each count, a stay away from her home, which is 7 Independence Place, no contact with the victim, Miss India Waters, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And of course, we would ask for the court to sound for the victim, Miss Waters. And I also was advised that she has for the last couple of months been attempting to take a TPO out on the defendant. She was unable to serve him, but eventually yesterday she was granted that TPO against the defendant.
Hey, Ms. Waters, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You, of course, do not have to address the court, but if you do wish to address the court, I'll need for you to activate your camera, unmute yourself, and I'll have to swear you in.
Hi, Judge Morrow. I'd like to speak.
Okay, if you could raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
I would just like to report the severity of the mental torture that this man has had on my neighborhood. He's repeatedly broken onto my porch, set up all sorts of psychotic, weird stuff on my porch. He's broken back onto my porch 5 days ago, took off a lock that I put on there, replaced it with a lock of his own. I am absolutely terrified for him to get released. I've had to move away from my home. I can't live in my home that I own anymore. And when he returns to his home, I'm so scared for my neighbors. He walks around the neighborhood with a knife. He's just repeatedly he walks past my Ring cameras all the time, threatening me. I am terrified for my life and the life of my neighbors. He is terrorizing me. I can't live in my own home. This is the most terrifying thing that has ever happened to me. He is a monster. I can walk you through dates, times, show you footage of all the stuff that he has done. If that's helpful, I can walk you through the countless times that I've had to call the police, the reports that I've filed, whatever you need. I have so much evidence and footage of the terrorization of my neighborhood that he has put on us. And
you can, Ms. Waters, does he live in the neighborhood?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
and
he lives one street over.
But he does not actually live. You live on Independence Place?
Yes, sir, but I can't live there anymore. I've had to move.
Okay, but he does not live on Independence Place.
He lives at 5 George Wythe, which is within the neighborhood. We live in a townhouse neighborhood, and he lives one street before mine within this very small gated community, and he is terrorizing us.
Okay, and it is where he lives, is it also within that gated community?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Waters. We appreciate you being here this afternoon. Ms. Atai, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. My client is 31 years old. He's lived in Georgia for 20 years. As you heard, this is only his second arrest. He's fine with a stay away from the incident location. Of course, as you heard, he lives close to there, so we would like him to be able to return to his home, but a stay away from the incident location is fine, and no further contact is fine. My client does deny the allegations, and these are just allegations. As to what's going on with the other neighbors, I mean, this is the only arrest that he's had. This is the only warrant that's out. So we're just dealing with this one, series of incidents that I guess have been occurring since July, but this warrant was taken out December 11th. So again, my client does deny the allegations. He's recommended a UJR level 2. So we are requesting a signature on bond through pretrial services, level 1. If your honor is not inclined, level 2 as it's recommended.
It'll be $1,000 good bond per charge, making for a total of a $2,000 good bond. He is to have no further contact with Miss India Waters. He is to stay away from not only her address of 7 Independence Place, but he's to stay away from the entire street of Independence Place and not to be on that street whatsoever. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you all.
That was a 2,000 good bond, Judge?
That's correct.
Thank you. Hey, Mr. Cook, you're muted.
Yes.
We're actually about to give you a call right now.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, go ahead and have a seat for me.
And I believe that Miss McLeod, well, she had joined us.
I am here, Your Honor.
Oh, good afternoon, Miss McLeod.
Good
We just had we had one of your clients come up earlier. So I just wanted to alert courtroom 2 that that you were with us.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and
Hold on, give me 1 second. I think Destiny Walker. This is Destiny Walker. I believe she's preserved. Okay,
18.
19, I believe.
19 is
18,
Rakima Walker.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
it's 18.
Okay, so this is your client, Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Walker
Okay.
is my client.
I had already greeted her, let her know what she was charged with. We'd already gone through her arrest history. Would you like for us to go back through her arrest history?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to hear that.
Okay, Mr. Howard.
Eighth arrest, open theft by taking reckless conduct in state court, open fleeing an officer, suspended registration in the cab, 2019 simple battery DV level 2.
Yes, Sean. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 2311 Jernigan Drive, where they spoke to the victim, Mr. James Wilson. He advised that he and his child's mother, who is the defendant, were engaged in a verbal disagreement that turned physical. The officer did observe scratches to the victim's face, above his nose and left eye, and he also had scratches on his stomach on the left-hand side. The victim stated that Ms. Walker hit him in the face with what appeared to be a toy clock. We have not been able to make contact with the victim. We are asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, a stay away from the incident location, a 2-day anger awareness course, no contact with the victim, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
What's his name? What's his name again? I'm sorry, Ms. McLeod. One moment.
His name is James Wilson.
If Mr. Wilson is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Okay, yes, Ms. McLeod.
And Your Honor, just briefly, I did check that open reckless conduct case. That's a separate victim in case the court wanted to know.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, we are not opposed to the state's recommendation of a signature bond for my client. She is 29 years old. She is the mother of 3 minor children for whom she's the sole caretaker. They are 10, 5, and 3 years old. I believe 2 of them she shares with the alleged victim. My client tells me that the alleged victim does not live at this location, that this is her home where she lives with her 3 children. So I would ask the court not to ask her to stay away from that location. She also tells me that the alleged victim came out of prison 3 days ago and came to her house, and that he does not live there. He was just visiting. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with James Wilson. third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Walker.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the bond, Judge?
Yes, it's a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have 817, Ms. Smith, Jacqueline. I believe that was a private attorney case.
Yes, and Ms. Rothman, if you need to speak with your client prior to a hearing, I'm happy to let you call the jail if you'd like to speak with her.
I can if she would like to. Is Ms. Smith want to speak with me, or is she prepared to go forward?
I'm prepared.
Okay, we're ready, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You have been charged in case 23 CR 008065E with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
No.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 4585 St. Andrews Drive, where they spoke to the victim, Mr. James Benson, who advised that he and his girlfriend were in a verbal disagreement, at which time his girlfriend assaulted him by grabbing his hair and striking him on the back of his arm. He also told law enforcement officers on scene that they have had several altercations in the past. We have attempted to make contact with the victim. We were unsuccessful. However, the state is requesting a signature bond through pretrial services, a 2-day anger awareness, a no contact provision with the victim, stay away from the incident location, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And even though we haven't made contact, of course, we would still stand for the victim, Mr. James Benson.
If Mr. James Benson is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so, Mr. Walker. Yes, Ms. Rothman.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is 76 years old. She does own the house that the incident took place in at 4585 St. Andrews. So we do ask that she be allowed to return there. The complaining witness is not on the lease, on a lease or on the title there. She outright owns the house. She has worked for Grady for at least 61 years. Her family is here in Atlanta. Her daughter is here. And we are asking for a signature bond. We're asking for her to be able to return to her house and for the signature bond, Your Honor. We are not opposed to no further contact.
Okay. It will be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with James Benson. I don't mind her going back to the St. Andrews address, but she must know that if Mr. Benson is residing there, that given that she can't have any further contact with him, that one or the other will have to leave that residence. So no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. That concludes my business. May I be excused?
I believe that your client has, do you have a question, Ms. Smith, for Ms. Rothman?
Yes.
I can call her if she'd like.
Okay. I think that she needs to speak with you. So if you'll
Thank
give
you.
All right. Have a good afternoon.
Do you have, I'm sorry, do you have the contact number?
No, if the jail can provide that for me.
404-612-2392. You can go ahead and have a seat right there at the phone, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next is 7, Holmes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Holmes. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you.
She's on the phone.
You've been charged in case 23 CR 008060E with theft by receiving stolen property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
20 total. Last was 2022 probation. He's on probation for a CWAT charge. Yeah, before that was 08 probation. He went to prison, so that's where the big gap come in at.
Yes, Your Honor. And this case occurred, or law enforcement was dispatched to 275 Pryor Street. I believe that's the Gateway Center, where a resident, if you will, was residing at that location. He advised that his iPhone was stolen from that location. He was able to track his iPhone to a Eco ATM. It was confirmed that his iPhone was sold to that ATM by the defendant. The state is seeking a signature bond through the jail. No contact with the victim, Mr. Joshua Morrison. To stay away from the Gateway Center, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. I don't believe we've had contact with the victim, but just to be safe, we would sound for Mr. Joshua Morrison.
Mr. Morrison is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Any objections to any of the requests of the state, Ms. Atai?
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from 275 Pryor Street. No further contact with Mr. Morrison. No drugs, alcohol, weapon out on bond. Mr. Tai, he may need a social worker visit to. I'm not sure if he has a place to reside or not, but if he does not, if you will have a social worker assist him with residence, possibly that would be helpful.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Mayor. You have a signature bond. 9, love it. That's good, right?
Okay. Can you hear me okay, Mr. Lovett?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm Judge Eric Moore. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
You've been charged in case 23 CR 008069Y with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
26 total, 2023 failure to appear, couple of probation violations from 2018, 2017 trespass NOLO, which was level 3.
Yes, Sean. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 1164 Alta Avenue, where they spoke to the victim, Miss Nicola Shelley. She advised that her and the defendant were in a verbal disagreement while she was watching TV. The defendant is her boyfriend. He unplugged the TV, and during the course of the argument, the defendant struck the victim in the face several times. The victim did sustain a cut to her lip from the attack by the defendant. We have had contact with the victim. She advised that they no longer live together. And then she lost her housing at this location due to this domestic violence incident. She is in fear and she does not want to have any contact with the defendant. The state is asking for a $1,500 surety bond, a no contact with the victim, Ms. Nicola Shelley. I'm sorry, I retract that. A no contact with the victim and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And of course, we'll sound for the victim, Ms. Nicola Shelley.
Ms. Shelley's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so.
Hello, Your Honor. I am on the line.
Okay, hold on, Ms. Shelley. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
This has been a complete disaster. Complete. I am now homeless with my kids due to this situation. I have nowhere to live. I have to leave the state of Georgia. So at this moment in time, I definitely fear for my life. Walter has been contacting me. Walter has been coming up to my job. He has been basically, he didn't even live at the address. He had another woman in my house. This has been a disaster. Even when you guys let him out, he's not going to be done. He's still going to try to harass me. He's still going to be harassing me. And I'm asking for help before this reaches murder, before I'm dead. I'm asking for help, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Shelley. I will certainly make it known that he's to have no contact with you, ma'am. Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 48 years old and he's currently not working due to a disability. As you see, he's in a wheelchair. He has a metal plate in his leg and is awaiting another surgery. He's lived in Georgia all his life. He denies the allegations. He states that he called the police on December 1st, and later that day, he did file a TPO. He states that the incidents or the alleged incident is the retaliation, because he no longer wanted to be in a relationship with the complaining witness. As the complaining witness stated, they are no longer together. She does not reside at the location, the 1164 Alta Avenue. So he is a UJR level 3 recommended. So I would ask for a signature bond through pretrial services, level 3. And the ability to return to the home at 1164 Alta Avenue, and no further contact with the complaining witness, and nothing further, Your Honor.
Is somebody
Your Honor,
still?
Your Honor, can I say something else?
Let me ask you a question first, Miss Shelley. Does anyone live at that Alter Avenue address anymore?
No, no one lives at that Alta address anymore. So no one can return to that home, not even him. At this point in time, he would need a caseworker so he can provide shelter, because the landlord has her keys. That's the landlord property. The lease was in my name. I was just dating him and I allowed him to get mail there. From that point on, he took over and allowed another woman to stay in that house when I tried to defuse the situation. So he can't return there. Nobody can return there. That's why I'm sleeping in my car with my kids.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that, but thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Shelley. As far as the bond goes, it will be a $5,000 SOB through pretrial level 3. No further contact with Ms. Shelley. Stay away from the Alter Avenue address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Let me put your hand down for me, Mr. Lovett. I will have Mr. Ty speak with you. Let me make clear what no further contact means. No contact means absolutely no contact, no personal contact, no phone contact, no email contact, no social media contact, no contact whatsoever. If there's any contact between you, Mr. Lovett, and Ms. Shelley, you'll be in violation of this bond and it will be revoked. Mr. Ty, do you need to address Mr. Lovett as he had his hand up?
No, I would just tell him to exercise his right to remain silent. From what I understood, he is still at that address, but
You call me?
maybe not. Yeah.
No. Well, if he does have some belongings at that address, he can have a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve his belongings. All right. Good luck to everybody.
Judge, what was that bond? I had to step away real quick.
It's a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3.
Level 3.
Yes.
Right. Anger awareness?
No.
Okay.
Number 8, Mr. Jones.
How you doing, Yon?
I'm doing well, Mr. Jones. Good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Jones, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008063F with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
12 total. 2023 suspended license out of Clayton County. You got a sale of marijuana, 2 counts. Possession of a knife or a firearm during the commission. That's 23 SC 190-625. This was level 3.
Okay. Walker.
Yes, Sean, in this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 162 Brownlee Road, where they spoke to the victim, Miss Selena Coakley. She advised that she was at her residence with the defendant. I believe that's her ex-boyfriend who had been staying with her. His other child's mother came to the home and some type of argument occurred. At that point, the defendant punched the victim in her right eye. She did sustain a bruise to her eye resulting from the attack. We have not made contact with the victim. We are asking for a $1,500 surety bond, no contact with the victim, Ms. Selena Coakley, stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. Of course, we would sign for the victim, Ms. Selena Coakley.
If Ms. Coakley is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Ms. Atai?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 27 years old. He has a 1-year-old child with the other person that's stated in the warrant. He denies the allegations. He's a graduate of Carver High School. He works at DHL full-time. Although he still qualifies for public defender services, he cannot afford a bond. According to the warrant, he was breaking up a fight between his ex-girlfriend, the complaining witness, and his child's mother. It's clearly stated in the warrant that the complaining witness attacked his child's mother, pulled her hair, and he was breaking up the fight. My client also serves as a deacon at his church and participates in a Feed the Homeless campaign every other week. And he did state to me that he broke up the fight because his child's mother carries a firearm and he did not want the incident to escalate any further. So I am asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. No further contact with the complaining witness is fine. They don't have contact with each other. Stay away from the incident location is also fine, and nothing further.
Okay, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Coakley. Stay away from the Brownlee Road address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right, good luck to you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Number 19, Walker, have a seat.
Good afternoon. This is Rakima Walker, is that right?
Correct.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 008074E with criminal trespass, battery, and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
11 total. 2022 FTA probation. 2021 fugitive from justice. Shoplifting. 2018 trespass conviction. 2017 home invasion conviction. Got a 2016 ag battery resistant officer. This was level 3.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to the Lindbergh MARTA station. MARTA police approached the defendant, because she was asleep in a restricted area. Upon telling the defendant that they had to leave, the defendant did refuse. They grabbed a Quick Trip coffee off the ground, threw it at the officer, and proceeded to punch the officer. The state is asking for a $500 surety bond on each count for a total of a $1,500 surety. Stay away from all MARTA, no weapon, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. My client, Mr. Walker, is 29 years old. He has been here in Georgia about 1 to 2 years. And Your Honor, he does have associate degree for early children education, and yet he has not been able to obtain the employment yet. Because of that financial indigency, he is basically staying at Central Outreach and Advocacy Center for residentially challenged people. So we will be asking for a social worker to have a visit to help him out. And we would like to request for a signature on bond, because any bond will be a good bond no bond for him. He has nobody else to pay the bond for him right now. So we ask for a signature on bond. Thank you.
Okay, it'll be $1,000 signature bond. through pretrial for each charge, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Abide by any active MARTA restrictions, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond, and a social worker visit to assist with housing.
Thank you.
Good luck to you, Mr. Walker.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Judge, you said 3,000, right?
Yes.
Because on his 3 card, I have 3 charges, but on the calendar is 2 charges.
I have 3 on the calendar: criminal trespass, battery, and willful obstruction of law
Okay.
enforcement officers.
I see it. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that battery is just right up against the other one.
Thank you, Judge. Okay. All right. Number 2, Brazil.
Good afternoon, Mr. Brazil. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 008061A with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Mr. Howard? You're on mute, Mr. Howard, if you're speaking.
7 total. 2011, suspended license out of Florida. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2011, suspended license. Before that was 1999, probation violation. This was level 1.
Yes, Sean, in this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 7307 Richland Court in Rossville, Georgia, where they spoke to the victim, Julie Chichone. She advised that her and her spouse were engaged in a verbal disagreement that turned physical when the defendant grabbed her by the arm and held her against the wall, leaving visible marks on her arm. This took place in front of their 11-year-old child with the initials XR. The state is seeking a signature bond through pretrial services, a 2-day anger awareness, a no contact with the victim or the juvenile victim with the initials of XR, a stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond, and we was out for the victim, Miss Julie Chachan.
Mr. Sean, I see that you're there. If you wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you do wish to address the court, I'll need for you to unmute yourself and I'll have to swear you in.
Yes, hi.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony that you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. I see that you went off camera. Are you able to reactivate your camera for me?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. What would you like to tell the court?
Well, I just want to go ahead and say I've already paid the surety bond. I don't think the no contact is necessary for me and my son.
Hey, has this
pretty much? I don't fear for my life or anything like that.
Has this ever happened before?
No.
And you do want him to? Do you all reside together?
Correct.
And would you like for him to return to the household?
That would be fine.
Okay. Anything further, ma'am?
No, that would be it.
Okay. Yes, Miss Kim.
Yes. Mr. Brazil is actually 45 years old, Your Honor. He was born in New York. He came to Georgia about 5 years ago, and he's gainfully employed at real estate industry. And he has 2 jobs to support his wife, who's on the line right now, and 11 years old child. He graduated from high school successfully. He's not going to be running away from this kind of incident. He will be coming back. He's recommended for UJR 11-1. So we would like to request for signature on bond through jail and no further violent contact with his wife, Your Honor.
All right. So for the battery, family violence, a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the cruelty, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. Both are level 1. one-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. John, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 4, Fairs.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Mr. Fields. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 008066C with a fray. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
5th arrest, 2022 out of Mississippi. Profanity, drunkenness in public place. That appears to be open. 2016 disorderly conduct conviction. 2011 DUI conviction, level 2.
Yes, Sean, in this case, law enforcement was dispatched to the Dave and Buster's located at 6500 North Point Parkway. The defendant was engaged in some type of physical altercation with another party at that location that was broken up by employees. He was detained and arrested for the charge of a fray. The state is seeking a signature bond through the jail. Stay away from that instant location. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out.
Any objection to any of that, Ms. Kim?
I couldn't hear you, the first part. Would you please repeat again?
He requested a signature bond through the jail. Any objection?
No, Your Honor. We have no objection.
Okay, $1,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Dave and Buster's on North Point Parkway, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Fairs.
Thank you very much.
A cross-defendant in that case or a co-defendant is my client, Mr. Morris Lender.
Okay, is he?
I'm sorry, Judge, what was the bond? 1,000 SOB through the jail, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
I have a quick announcement for number 2, Mr. Bazil. What was his bond?
He had a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Thank you.
Okay, and do we have the co-defendant in that case? What's the name?
What
That's
number? What's the name?
position 11.
Yes, we have him.
Can we take him next?
Okay.
And good afternoon, Mr. Mosslender. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Good afternoon, I do.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 008067C with a fray, obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
His 8th arrest, 2020 obstruction out of Forsyth, that was dismissed. 03 possession of alcohol below legal age, dismissed. This was level 2.
Yes, Sean. In this case, it's the same facts, however, with the exception of not only was this defendant involved in the altercation with the last party, in the midst of the altercation being broken up by employees, he actually punched one of the employees, a female by the name of Alicia Murphy. So with that being said, the state will be seeking a signature bond through pretrial services with the same conditions. We will sound for the victim, Miss Alicia Murphy.
Ms. Murphy's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Ms. McLeod?
Your Honor, we have an objection to the signature bond, and for the record, my client denies that he struck anyone and definitely did not strike the female employee. Nothing further, Your Honor.
I'm sorry. So you said you have objection to the signature bond?
No objection to the signature.
Oh, no objection to the signature bond. I'm sorry. So it'll be $1,000 signature bond on each count through pretrial, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. No further contact with Ms. Murphy. Stay away from that Dave and Buster's, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Mosslender.
What's your level?
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing.
Level 1.
Number 5, Giddens.
How you doing, Judge?
I'm doing fine. How are you, Mr. Giddings?
Doing bad. I'm seeing
All
bad.
right.
Okay, fine.
I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Giddings. You've been charged in case 23 CR 008075F with obstruction of a law enforcement officer and 2 counts of simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
16 total. 2015 probation. 2015 violation of family violence order, simple assault NOLO. 2014 simple battery DV conviction.
Yes, Sean. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 4115 Kenora Drive, where they spoke to the victim, Miss Stephanie Blanchard. She advised that her and her husband, who's the defendant, were engaged in a domestic dispute concerning their marriage, at which time became physical. I believe he took her keys and even relinquished her phone. During the course of the argument, he did grab her by both arms. The victim did sustain bruising on her arms, and he also pushed their juvenile child in the chest. While the juvenile by the name or the initials of KG was speaking to law enforcement, he reported to the officer that his father daddy pushed me. The state is seeking a $1,500 surety bond on each count, a stay away from the incident location, no contact with both victims, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond. And of course, we would sound for the victim, Miss Stephanie Blanchard.
Ms. Blanchard is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Okay, Ms. Atai.
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 49 years old. He was working as a heating and technician and in masonry, but he is now a stay-at-home father of 3 minor children, age 9, 7, and 3. He does deny the allegations, although the warrant states that he, grabbed the complaining witness's arm, his wife, and pushed his son. He does deny those allegations. He states that he did suffer injuries as to the willful obstruction. He did suffer injuries when he was being arrested by the police. His knee is swollen, his backside is skinned and scarred. He also states that when the officer slammed him to the ground so forcefully that his wedding ring flew off, so he has lost that ring now. They wouldn't pick it up for him. He states that the officer involved also antagonized him further, stating that his wife was attractive. My client does deny the allegations, and we are asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. It can be level 1 or whatever Your Honor thinks is necessary. A stay away from I was not able to contact the complaining witness, but my client tells me that when the police were there, she stated to them that she doesn't want to press any charges, and that it's, was just a disagreement between husband and wife. It does seem likely, since the alleged incidents were a grabbing of her arm and a push to the child. So we are asking for him to be able to return to the home. He is a stay-at-home father of those 3 children, but so no further violent contact and the ability to return to his home, and nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Walker, has your office been able to contact Ms. Blanchard?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Okay. Given that, Ms. Atai, although I will give him a signature bond through pretrial, until someone contacts or makes contact with Ms. Blanchard, they can have no contact. As such, for the obstruction, it'll be a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial. For each of the simple batteries, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2, 1-day anger awareness. At this point in time, no further contact with Ms. Blanchard, third-party transfer of the children for visitation, stay away from the Kenora Drive address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Of course, if somebody does contact Ms. Blanchard and she wishes to have contact, of the court will certainly seek a modification at the appropriate time if she wishes to have contact. All right, Mr. Giddings, good luck to you, sir.
Parham.
Good afternoon, Mr. Parham. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, sir. Mr. Parham, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008071E with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fifth arrest. All I see is driving stuff. Level 2.
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched at 2200 Goppy Road, where they met with the victim, Miss Noelle Phillips, who advised that her and her boyfriend had been engaged in a verbal disagreement that turned physical. The defendant came up behind her and began to hit her in the face, kicking her, and also threatened to take her life. The state has made contact with the victim, so we will sound for her, Miss Noelle Phillips. We are asking for a $2,500 surety bond, no contact with the victim, stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. And again, we will sound for the victim, Miss Noelle Phillips.
Ms. Phillips, I see that you're on the line with us. If you'd like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. You'll need to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in.
Okay, I'm trying to access the camera part.
Okay.
1 second. It is not letting my camera open.
Let's see, you may need to log out and log back in, and choose the activate camera settings when you log back in. Can you hear me, Ms. Phillips? While she's trying to do that, is this your case, Mr. Cook? Okay, no, here she is. Okay. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Yes. It is my case.
Okay, I've got her back with me. I'll be right with you, Mr. Cook. Yes, Ms. Phillips, what would raise your right hand for me? Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Yes, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
I would just like to say that I didn't say that he kicked me. I say he kicked at my car. But I don't think it's necessary for no contact. We live together. I just feel like we had a lot going on. His grandmother just passed. I've had a lot going on with me as well. Yeah, that's it. We just had a misunderstanding with each other. I didn't want it to go any further than that, which is why I dispatched him out so that he could just be removed.
Okay, so has this ever happened before?
No, this is our first time.
And you're not afraid of him?
No.
And you'd like him to return to the household?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Phillips. Mr. Cook, if it's okay with you, it'll be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Ms. Phillips, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
That's acceptable, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Parham. You also, Ms. Phillips.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hits. Stood in the second row with third.
Good to meet you, John.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Pitts. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Pitts, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008072Y with simple battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Third arrest, 2015 possession of a controlled substance. I think he got PTI for that. This level 1.
Yes, Sean, in this case, law enforcement was dispatched at 3540 North Camp Creek Parkway, where they spoke to the victim and Miss Sierra Pitts. She advised that her and the defendant, who was her husband, were engaged in a verbal altercation, disagreement, if you will, at their marital home. During the course of this disagreement, the defendant did slap her with his hand in front of their 1-year-old daughter. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with the victim, Ms. Sierra Pitts. To stay away from the incident location. 2-day anger awareness. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. Of course, with a sound for the victim, Ms. Sierra Pitts.
I see you there, Ms. Pitts. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. If you would raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hands up. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
Well, it was not nothing physical at all. It was our first time getting into a heated argument, and it was a misunderstanding. And we got into a heated argument, and being that I'm pregnant and emotional, that's why I called the police, just for the incident to die down. But it was nothing physical at all. And I do want him to come back home, because being that he is the only one that worked and he has to take care of my child, and I'm pregnant, so he has to come back home. And this was our first time ever getting into an altercation like that, so it will never happen again. I'm not in fear of my life. He's a good man and a good father, so I'm not in fear of anything.
Okay. Thank you for being here this afternoon, Ms. Pitts. This is your case, Mr. Cook.
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
If agreeable with you, it'll be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Ms. Pitts, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
That is acceptable, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Good luck to you both, you and Mr. and Mrs. Pitts. You're welcome.
Number 12, Owens. No.
Hey, how you doing, Judge?
I'm doing well, Mr. Owens. Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Owens, you've been charged in case 23 CR 008070Y with hit and run and failure to yield the right of way. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest, 2017 marijuana possession. Level 1.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred at the intersection of Old National Highway and Wexford Drive, where it is alleged that the defendant failed to yield to an oncoming vehicle in traffic. He did strike the vehicle. After striking the vehicle, he did flee the scene. It's my understanding that the victim was able to ascertain or to record his tags number. Undercover officer was able to later identify the defendant by running his tags, and he was taken into custody. The state is asking for a signature bond through the jail. No weapons, drugs, or alcohol while out on bond.
Okay, if agreeable with you, Mr. Cook, it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail for the hit and run, $500 signature bond through the jail for the failure to yield, makes for a total of $1,500 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Does that suit you?
That's acceptable, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very good. Good luck to you, Mr. Owens.
Number 6, Hickle.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Hickle. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 008059J with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Fifth arrest. I got an FTA from this year. open simple battery DB out of Paulding County. That's a 2021 case number on it. 2017 DUI dismissed. 2014 disorderly conduct. So it's level 2.
Yes, in this case, Your Honor, law enforcement was dispatched at 1856 Wells Drive, where they spoke to the victim and Mr. Jeremy Marshall. He advised that he and the defendant are brothers. It appears that the defendant was engaged in some type of disagreement or argument with his mother, at which time the victim interceded on behalf of their mother. At that time, the defendant became more enraged and punched the victim in his nose, causing the victim to bleed from his nose. We have had contact with the victim. He stated that he is okay with having no further violent contact, but he has spoken to the property manager at that location. And from his understanding that the defendant now, due to this incident and due to the police being called, has been criminally trespassed from that location. The state will be seeking a signature bond through pretrial services, no further violent contact with the victim, a stay away from the incident location, no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. Of course, we was call for the victim or sound for the victim, Mr. Jeremy Marshall.
If Mr. Marshall is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. Mr. Ty?
Yes, Your Honor. His brother, Mr. Marshall, is not on the line. He stated that he couldn't be here because he has work, but the property owner, Ms. Hicks, or the person who's on the lease with my client is on the line. He stated that it would be up to Ms. Hicks to decide whether he could return to the home, but he's fine with contact. So the no further violent contact with the brother is fine with us. And he said that it would be up to Ms. Hicks, the stay away. So we would object to any stay away. And I do believe that Ms. Hicks is on the line and his mother.
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm here.
Good afternoon, Ms. Hicks. If you can raise your right hand for me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you like to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
First of all, Derek he's not violent. He is welcome back on the property. He can come back home. He is on the lease. This was a simple misunderstanding between two brothers. It's the anniversary of their older brother's death. So, emotions and all of that were a little bit out of sorts. It's the holidays. He can't come back home. Please do not put a stop or stay away order on him. He's not violent. We've lived together for a year. He's never been violent towards me or anybody else that I've ever seen. He works, he's a good person, and this is just a simple misunderstanding. So I'm allowing him to come back home.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Thank
can
you.
I ask the witness just a couple of questions?
Of course,
Yes,
Mr.
you
Walker.
can.
Ms. Hicks, are you the mother of the defendant and the victim, or what's your relation?
No, I'm not. His mother is on the line. No, I'm not his mother.
Okay, and then is this location an apartment complex?
It is an apartment complex. He has not been trespassed.
Okay,
That
so
is not, that is,
that's not
that's not,
correct that the property manager told Mr. Jeremy Marshall that the defendant was not allowed back onto the property. He made
no,
that.
that's not correct because first, for the record, me and Mr. Heichel are the leaseholders. Mr. Derek is the head of the household. He wouldn't be able to make that decision or have any type of
I don't think you
conversations
understood
with
my
our.
question. I just asked, is it not true that the property manager or the
No,
leasing
it's
office
not.
communicated that to the victim? That's all.
No, and the victim doesn't have the authority to even have those types of conversations.
Okay, understand. I didn't ask.
I
I was saying, is
understand
it
that, but
true
I'm
that leasing?
clarifying for
Yes.
the record. I understand that, but I'm
Okay.
going to clarify that for the record.
Okay.
Anything further, Mr. Walker?
No, that's all.
Anything further, Ms. Hicks?
No, his mother is on which I'm sure she'd like to say something as well, but he can come home.
Okay, so, and is it Lynn Heichel? Okay, would you like to speak, ma'am? You have to unmute, you have to stop walking and unmute yourself for me if you'd like to talk to me. I can't, you have to unmute yourself.
Next to where it says stop or start video. tap on any one of the screens that you see, and then at the bottom it should say mute, stop, or start video, and you can click the mute, and then we should be able to hear you.
Okay, it appears that she's totally gone now. Well, I'm going to give him a signature bond and let him return home. So it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial, level 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Marshall, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you,
All
Your
right.
Honor.
You're welcome, Ms. Hicks. Good luck to you, Mr. Hickle.
Okay, you're done. Judge, I do have a quick announcement for
Okay.
two individuals. The first one is gonna be Kimball Dimitri Ross, and then the second one is Gary Scott. They're both not on the calendar, so I'm wondering, are there no props or what's the status?
So Campbell is a felony case that was transferred to the DA's office this morning, so that'll need to be handled on felony first appearance. And then Scott, that still apparently was also on the felony pull sheet. I do believe that it is a misdemeanor, so we can address this case. However, the state is unable to accuse it because it still has a pre-filed number linked to the case. So we will need to address Scott. However, Kimball will need to be addressed in magistrate court tomorrow on the felony first appearance calendar.
Okay, so Kimball is transferred to felony, and then, but Scott is not on the calendar, so we could.
Correct, because it still has a pre-filed number, so we can't accuse it. We're working on getting that removed. But his case can and still will need to be addressed today.
Okay, can we take him back? Come on, Mr. Scott.
What happened with Mama Dude?
Oh, Mama
Dude, he was already went to felony first appearance, and he was given a UJR through pretrial services on those misdemeanor charges.
Okay. I just saw he was on the pull sheet.
Yes, no, he was.
He was on the pull sheet. He was on the sheet yesterday. I was under the understanding that was moving to Superior Court.
So if you pull up those charges in the gelling screen, and if you search in Odyssey, it's associated to a DA number. And then on the gelling screen, when you click on charges, it said that he was assigned a signature round through pretrial services at felony first appearance on the misdemeanor charges.
Okay.
What is Scott's first name?
Gary.
Gary?
Gary.
I got the history, Judge. I just didn't have the first name.
Okay, I don't have anything regarding Mr. Scott. Will someone please tell me what he's charged with?
Second, so Mr. Gary Scott is charged with battery family violence, 1 count.
And you say that, do you have any type of number associated with it at the present time?
It's on a different screen, but I can give you, I don't know if anybody has the booking number. That's what will have to go on.
So if they're not on the calendar, we are still gonna address it?
Well, yes, because he's in custody and he'll need to have a first appearance.
He was on the pull sheet.
So, Ms. Bridgewater, you tell me from your standpoint what you're gonna need as far as for the paperwork goes from Mr.
Yeah,
Walker.
I need an accusation number. I need the charges.
There's no accusation number because we're unable to accuse it because there's a pre-file number still associated. I can give you the pre-file number, but I think what would be best is if we put the booking number on the bond order.
Okay.
I'm not sure if we can issue a bond for a pre-file number, if that makes sense.
Okay, well, if you want to do an order for the judge to sign, because basically I don't have anything to do with it. If you want to submit something and let the judge sign it and we go forth like that, with him not being on the calendar, nor do I have any paperwork. My hands are tied.
Right.
I'm sorry, Ms. Holly. I don't want to cut you off, but I would confirm that with Michael because Mr. Walker, with that having a pre-file number with felony, I'm not sure that we can even do anything with that at this point.
I'm telling you, it's a misdemeanor warrant.
Right, but if it has something with misdemeanor
this has
connected
happened
to it,
before. And when it happened before, we put the booking number on there. I mean, we can all check the warrant. He was on our full sheet. I mean,
But again, if you submit something for the judge to sign, that's,
right. We don't submit the bond orders. It would be PD Cook that sends the bond orders over to the court.
What's the booking number?
One second, I got 5 different screens open at one time, but if you give me 2 seconds, I can click 3 buttons and I can tell you. 2 seconds.
What's the name again?
Gary Scott.
Gelling. So the booking number is going to be 232-0906. And it looks like he was booked yesterday. And then I'm not sure, is Mr. Jordan on the line? Because I believe he might also have some information because he is the one who brought it to our attention via email that he needs to be handled today.
I don't think he is, but let me see if I can't get him, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Francois, while we're waiting for them, I have a question for you.
Yes, sure.
Position number 10, what are we doing with that person?
Number 10, let me take a look at it. Okay, bond has been paid.
Okay. And after Mr. Scott here, we've covered everybody, is that right?
That is correct, Judge.
All right, thank you. Just wanted to
You're
make sure.
welcome.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
I have
you're
Mr.
fine.
Jordan right here. Mr. Walker,
Yes, ma'am.
give me that defendant's name again. See if you're familiar with this.
It is Scott. First, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me go back.
Gary Scott.
Gary Scott.
Are you familiar with anything with him?
You need me to look him up?
They're saying that he was arrested yesterday and he's not linked. And he needs
He has a
to.
pre-trial. No.
He's got a pre-trial. That name sounds familiar. Gary Scott. Oh, is that the guy that I was asking y'all about with the battery case?
Yes, Mr. Jordan.
You need the pre-file number on link?
Well, he has the pre-file number, but we've contacted the DA. They have to unlink the pre-file before we can file a CR number.
Gotcha.
But yes, to answer your question, that's him, the guy we emailed about earlier.
And they say he has to be heard today.
Yeah, he was arrested.
Well, I mean, Riverside, we have 72 hours, but I think it would be the best practice if he's heard today. It's only been 24. My suggestion is that we hear the case and we put the booking number on the bond order, and we can figure out the paperwork such as getting the pre-file number unlinked and getting an accusation filed. But I have the warrant and I have my bond recommendation for the court.
I'll be right back. I might be able to unlink it. I'll be right back.
And I need a add on calendar. Okay, we're trying to take care of it, okay?
Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater.
Well,
So while we're waiting for that, may I move forward with the bond
The state-
hearing?
State's ready, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Scott. Thank you for your patience, sir.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Scott. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Let's see, Mr. Scott, it's my understanding that you have booking number 2320906, where you're accused of battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
14 total. 2014 trespass. 08 shoplifting conviction. Before that was the 90s. This was level 2.
Yes,
welcome.
sir. Yes, Your Honor. In this case, law enforcement was dispatched to 3155 Harris Drive, where they spoke to the victim, whose name is, I'll spell her first name, Arelia Favors. She advised that her and her roommate, who was the defendant, were having a disagreement about dishes, if you will. At that time, that disagreement did turn physical. The defendant did punch the victim in the face, causing bruising around her mouth and lip area. The state is asking for a signature bond through pretrial services, a 2-day anger awareness course, no contact with the victim, Ms. Aurelia Favors, a stay away from the incident location, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. I do not believe Ms. Favors is here, but we'll still sound for the victim, Ms. Favors, in this matter. Thank you.
Ms. Favors is with us and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Yes, Mr. Cook.
Oh, I'd like to listen to Ms. Favors.
Oh, I don't think she's with us.
Oh, she's not with us. Okay. Your Honor, it's my understanding that Ms. Favors is not on the lease. She pays no rent there. I believe she is a friend of the brother. So, if possible, if there's going to be no further contact, she's the one that ought to leave the apartment, since my client is on the lease and helps pay the rent.
What's the brother's name?
Let me see. Stuart Winfield.
And is Mr. Winfield on the line?
I've tried to contact him earlier, but could not reach him.
And Your Honor, the stay is fine if we were the order, so long as the victim does not reside there, he can return. We haven't had contact with the victim, but the information I purported to the court was information that was included in the warrant. So if the victim doesn't reside there, we're okay with the defendant returning home, but so long as she does reside there, we will be requesting a stay away from that incident location.
Okay, so it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Favors. He can go back to the Harris Drive address, but only if Ms. Favors is not residing there. If Ms. Favors does reside there, he will have to find someplace else to reside. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Okay.
Your Honor, could he get, if Ms. Favors is residing there, could he get a one-time trip with a police officer?
Yes, he can have a one-time escort with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings if Ms. Favors resides there.
Your Honor, I think Ms. Bridgewater may have just worked her magic. I was able to file or reattempt at filing the accusation down, so I'm hoping we can have a CR number in the next couple of moments.
Okay. I'll let you work that out with Ms. Bridgewater.
I'm not gonna take the credit. Well, thank you for that, but Mr. Jordan did it, okay?
But Ms.
I
Bridgewater
will,
and Mr.
I'll
Jordan,
accept it on both our behalf, okay?
not the best.
Is it kind of like an Oscar?
I just want to thank you guys.
We're completed in courtroom 2, Judge. Thank you.
All right, have a good afternoon. See you
Thank
next time.
You did the same.
Thank
Your
you.
Honor?
Yes,
Your
sir.
Honor? Yeah, I was wondering if we could go back to the solicitor on Mamadou Diallo and clarify that a bit. What he waived today, is the prosecutor under the impression that that something has been set, or?
Yeah, okay. Well, sorry to go back and forth. First, let me give you the case number for Mr. Gary Scott.
Okay.
Mr. Bridgewater. It's
I'm
going
ready.
to be 23 CR 008130. I don't have a number, I mean a letter at the end, but that's the CR
We'll
number.
get it, okay.
And then Diallo, I can give you the DA number that those charges are associated with. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm sorry. But to answer your question, Attorney Cook, those warrants are associated with a DA number. And when you pull it up on the gelling screen, he was assigned a UJR bond through pretrial services. I don't know if Mr. Howard has access or can see those, but I'll look them up if I could just have maybe like 15 seconds. Yeah,
Oh, there's a letter C at the end of Mr. Cook's case number.
Thank you. So the DA number I have for Mamadou Diallo is 23 DA 12256. And it's attached to a robbery charge. And also, I don't know which one's easier. I have a DA and a CP number, 23 CP 224174. And then addresses, I'm looking at the bond order that was signed by, I'm not showing the judge's signature, but if you pull that up and look at Odyssey, there's a bond order and includes these misdemeanor charges with that robbery charge. His booking number is 2320763.
It's your understanding that his misdemeanor charges will go up with the
Yes, sir. They're already attached under that DA number and that CP number. They're all on the same bond order.
Okay.
That you could pull up in attorney manager.
Okay, that's fine.
But you are correct. There was some confusion. He was placed on our misdemeanor pool sheet. I believe it was done in error.
No problem.
Okay, are we ready to go over the calendar?
I have one question though. On position number 10, did we hear that?
That was they bonded out, I believe.
Okay, I didn't get that. But yes, the answer to your question, we're ready.
Okay, whenever you're
Okay. Once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is going to be January the 2nd. Position number 1 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. 2 is reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 3 is going to the SAP calendar with a total of a $1,000 good bond. 4, reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 5, reset further notice with a total $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 6, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 7 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. 8, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 9, reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through pretrial. 10 is reset further notice as the defendant has been released. 11, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 12 is reset further notice with a total $1,500 SOB through the jail. 13, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. 14, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 15, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 16, reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. 17, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. 18, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. 19, reset further notice with a total $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Now, the Cook case is going to be on the add-on, and it is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through pretrial. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise?
What's the Cook case? Gary Scott?
Yes, the one we were just discussing.
Okay.
We good?
We good.
Judge, you look puzzled.
no, I'm well, I'm sure that would be a daily occurrence, but y'all have a good afternoon, rest of your afternoon. I appreciate the hard work today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
See you next
Take care,
time.
everybody.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.